This is the Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with head coach Ryan Day and former OSU All-American Jim Lachey, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
And thanks for joining us for this week's show as Ohio State goes into their second bye weekend of the season following last Saturday's 1-point loss at Oregon. Jim, one of the things we can talk about is the fact that as disappointing as the defeat was, boy, what a display of some football out there with some incredible plays, incredible players on both sides, and crazy drama right down to the very end.
Yeah, as we mentioned on Buckeye Roundtable on Monday night, that if you were just a football fan watching a game and had nothing invested, it was back and forth. It was a 1-point game at halftime. And at the end of the game, it was a 1-point game, so it just went back and forth. So, a lot of good offense there, a lot of people making plays. Both the quarterbacks performed pretty well in that game, and you saw some receivers step up and have some, big-time catches during the course of the game. But as Buckeye fans, it's a little bit disappointing the way it just couldn't quite, it ran out of time, so to speak. And that happens sometimes when you're playing on the road, and that was the case against Oregon.
Coach Day, thanks as always for your time. Good to see you. I know you guys had to be anxious to get right back here and get right back to work this week.
Yeah, I guess anxious. It took a little while to get over that game. Coming back off the road and not finishing the game the way we wanted to. It took us a few days, but got out there on Tuesday, got moving around, and then yesterday, I thought we had a really good practice, and the focus is now moving forward on where we're at, where we're going. Get the things that we got to get fixed. Certainly. You want to win in games like that, you got to win the turnover battle. We got to win the turnover battle, and we didn't do that. We didn't win the rushing yards. We gave up too many explosive plays, so those things have to get fixed. And so you stew on it for a while, you keep working at it, but then eventually you got to move on. You start focusing, moving forward, because when you look at where we are moving forward, we got 6 games here in the second half of the season, and if you can go win those games, then you're right back where you need to be. So. A lot to learn from, but we got back at it yesterday, and we'll get back at it again today.
Coach, getting on the plane with you guys, I saw most of the coaches already in their notepads, kind of going through the iPads, checking out, reviewing the game, and, that's just the way it is. You got the chance for 4 hours on that flight to film review, and didn't see many of the coaches taking naps or sleeping. It was just all kind of focusing that, and trying to figure out, review it, find out what went wrong, and then, you got to get the lessons learned. You got to correct those type of things, and you guys started on that right away.
Yeah, there was a lot of things coming out of the game, going, on the road and playing there, and everything that came with it. So, yeah, a lot to review, a lot to go over, a lot to improve on, and, I think there was some things that came out of it that were positive for sure, so that was good, but like I talked about before, if you, in those games, you got to win the turnover battle. That's the number one thing, and then from there, you got to be able to win the rushing yards, and then the last thing was the explosive plays. I think that really, made a big difference. And then, down the stretch, we got to get a stop, and we got to find a way to get that field goal at the end.
They had 8 plays, 25 yards or more, and when you looked at all those 8 explosive plays, that was like almost 55, 58% of their total offense came on those big plays. And, you take 1 or 2 of those away, it's a different ballgame and went in a 1-point game.
That's it. That's exactly right. And, that's what we say all the time. And so we got to do a better job of. We got to put them in position. It starts with the coaches and then goes down to the players. And especially the older players and your captains and your leaders on the team? Oh, yeah. Yep, same thing. And then, they came in and got right back after it. And I think that's one thing about these guys here is, there wasn't a whole bunch of finger pointing, and there was a lot of accountability there, and it starts with the coaches and making sure that they understand, we got to put you guys in a good situation. We got to get lined up, and we got to play. And I think, that part was good, in terms of, the beginning of this week. And I think they know that there's still a lot of football out in front of them, and felt like coming out of the game that there's a lot of things that if we had done different, it would be a different situation. And so we're going to learn from it and move on.
Coach, you had some guys that got injured in that game, got banged around. Obviously, Josh Simmons, the news wasn't good. Kazmary got banged around a little bit on that big catch that he had. And some other guys. It's just kind of the nature of a physical football game in the Big Ten. Guys are going to get banged around. You hope to have most of those guys back?
Not all of them. No. But that's why you build depth. That's why you knew this was going to happen midway through the season. So a couple guys will get back for sure. Other guys like Josh and Will be a while.
You certainly had to love to see the way you guys competed and kept going on through the entirety of the football game. Not that anybody expects any different out of your team, but it had to be good to see the way the guys just faced that challenge.
Yeah, no, that part was good. The guys played hard, and even up to the end there on defense, we got that stop there, and tighten the goal in the red area, at least give our guys on offense a chance to go in the game.
That opening drive, you took it right down the field. Of course, Will had that 32-yard pass right in the middle of the field, and you guys got right up to the line of scrimmage, and I was thinking, yeah, you better snap because you just never know with review. And do you have a call for that? I know in the past, the teams I played, we called it fire or lava or something like that, where, hey, we just want to get up there and hurry up and run a play. Was that the case there?
Yeah. You don't want to leave it up for chance.
No.
So, yeah, the faster you can get that thing called and get run and get that ball stuck in there, it doesn't matter what you make on that. You just got to – you don't want the cops to be looking at it, so just try to get that thing going fast.
You kind of covered some of it, but the first of our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions, Seth in Greenfield. What are the keys for a team not getting 2 down after a tough loss like that?
That's okay to get 2 down early on. One thing about being in a bye is, like I said Tuesday, we're not just going to come out here and think everything, just move on. You don't just move on. I know the sun came up, but we should not have lost that game, and it just hurts, and it's going to hurt, and that's just the way it goes. But at some point, you got to move on, and we did that yesterday. We came out and we said, okay, here's the plan moving forward. Here's the path moving forward. This is what we have out in front of us. That game is not going to, something that we're going to reference a ton, but it's going to stay in the back of our mind and understand that if we don't do the things that we talked about, this is the result. And so that's everybody in the building. But it's a combination of those things. I think having a bye week allows you to, kind of chew on it and work on it and try to work out some of those issues more than if you didn't have a bye week, for sure.
My history after going through a loss, something like that, the next week's practice is usually pretty chippy, and I had a chance to come to practice yesterday, and it looked like it was back and forth, guys getting after a little bit, and you want to see that fight out of guys, right? I mean, you want to see them. It means something to them when they're going after it like that.
No, I think the guys, that part of it, they've been great. Their attitude, they're edgy. We're all edgy. Coaches are edgy. That's the way it should be, on edge right now, and it's just. You get that awful taste in your mouth, and so it's just got to be like that all the time, which it's been, by the way. It's not like,
right.
This is not a wake-up call at all. Guys have been going after it. We've been playing hard. We've been doing those things, but we got to find a way to win the game in the fourth quarter, and those are the things that we've identified that we got to do a better job of. We got to take care of the football. We got to win the rushing yards. We got to hold them to less X plays than we did, and those are the areas. Now, those aren't the only areas. We got other things that we got to clean up as well. And, winning the game in the fourth quarter is what it's going to come down to in some of these bigger games.
If you have a question for Coach Day, you can submit them to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at OhioStateBuckeyes.com and click on Ryan Day Show inbox. Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. The Foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State home football game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the Foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit OSU5050.com. Ohio State is idle this weekend. They'll host Nebraska next Saturday. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hey, Ohio State fans, it takes a lot of energy to root for the Buckeyes. That's why Burger King is going to get your team going with the $20 Buckeye Blitz Bundle. This OSU fan exclusive has a delicious lineup that includes 2 Whopper sandwiches, 1 cheeseburger, 3 small fries, and 3 small drinks. Get over to your local BK and get fueled up for game day. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
We can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois. It is time to square off against overpriced family dinners with Donato's all-new bakery crust pizza. A square-cut, thicker bakery-style crust with smoked provolone cheese and Donato's fresh toppings, plus your choice of marinara, ranch, or garlic sauce for dipping. The crust is thicker, but the deal is the kicker. Right now, you can get 2 one-topping bakery crust pizzas for just $19.99. It's a whole lot of pizza for not a lot of dough. Order with the app or at Donatos.com.
Hey there, Buckeye fans. Coach Day here. When you're getting ready for game day, make sure you start with the Kroger app. The app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons, and you can earn fuel points too. And best of all, when you shop with the app, you'll enjoy the same low prices you'd find in-store. So check out the app and save while you're cheering us on to another great season. Kroger, fresh for everyone, and go Buckeyes.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for a 2 Deep report presented by Elk & Elk Injury Lawyers, dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And welcome back to this week's show. Coach, you were talking about the injuries, and especially on the offensive line. I know even way back in the summer you were talking about how hopefully when people were out, it did help develop some depth at that position group. And certainly we saw early on in the season where some of that paid off, and I know you're needing it too now.
Yeah, and in that moment, who would have thought, Josh Simmons would have gone down that early in the game, and when he went down. And so for Zen to come in and play like that should build some confidence for him moving forward, and that's going to be important because we're going to need him all season.
Coach, is that the pretty much way it's going to be? I know George would probably be the 3rd tackle now, unless you're still kind of probably massaging that and working that through this week. Is there any other guys like a Luke Montgomery or Tegra that you might have some reps and get some of those guys to tackle too?
Yeah, or even Donovan.
Yeah.
We're going to go with Zen right now, but we'll have some backup plans. We always have to have the contingency plans in place. But the good news is you got Austin in there. You got Tegra, who's played some tackle before. You can move Donnie out as well, and then you have Luke ready to roll at guard.
How different is your week going to be this week as opposed to the first bye week that you had with your schedule?
A little bit different in that we've been getting the 1s some work, but a lot of it's been the 2s and the 3s and making sure that we're getting healthy going into the home stretch here. It's going to be a long stretch, and when you think about it, it could be 10 games, so it's a lot of football. We're going to focus on the first one, and finish in October, November, undefeated. But once we get to Sunday, it's all going to be on Nebraska. But right now, it's we're talking about this run that we're about to go on and what goes on here in the Big Ten, and the change in weather, all the different things that come with that, and the great teams that have come before who have reached their goals have been undefeated in November, and so those are kind of the focuses. But practice right now has been on fundamentals. It's been physical. A lot of focus though on the younger guys. Couple periods on Nebraska, but mostly on the young guys and fundamentals.
Coach, I know you had penalties in that ball game. 3 offsides, false starts. How do you? I know that it was loud and you had probably a silent count, but how do you work on that? How do you address that? How do you clean that up?
Yeah, we just keep doing it over and over and over and over again, and just the overall focus of having the silent count, understanding how it works, and this which we do. We did all preseason, which I know you saw, and just all during the week, and so we did it again yesterday. We'll do it again today, and just continue to do that because it's going to be the same thing at Penn State.
Back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Josh in Akron. Team sometimes holding something back and not showing it at previous games. Did Oregon give you any looks or plays that you hadn't seen from previous games?
No, not really. I mean, no, formationally, certainly they keep things, current, and they change things up that way. But it wasn't. Well, there was a bunch of things that we hadn't seen before or weren't ready for, other than just a lot of formational things and changes that way. So it comes down again to fundamentals and making sure we get lined up fast.
It seemed like Oregon wanted to do a little bit more formation and boundary this past game. Was that something they showed on film prior, or is that something that they kind of held back for Ohio State?
Yeah, that number 15, they move him around a lot in different ways and put him in the backfield, put him into the boundary, move them, shift them, motion them, which they had shown they had done a lot of that anyways. But no, they had a good plan coming into it, but again, it wasn't like there was a bunch of stuff that just completely caught us off guard. I just think that we got to execute it better.
Not major changes, but as you get to this point in the season and you've seen your team in live game action, does that allow you and the coaches to talk about adjustments or additions to things you've already kind of implemented?
Well, yeah, you look at where you've been, in the first few games, and the real issues don't typically come out until you're playing against more of a matchup game like we just did, and so yeah, you got to look at all those things and make sure that as you move forward, you got the right plan to go win these games. We need to do, we need to win.
Oregon's tempo, it seemed like they started running plays at a fast pace. There's a couple times where you could see, our guys are looking the sideline and weren't quite lined up right, or, had their hands in the dirt. How do you speed that process up and get those calls in there so they know what to do?
No, there's a ways to do it, and we're going to do it, and we're going to get that fixed because that's what you got to do, and so it's been addressed and it's being addressed, and we're going to make sure it gets done.
Do you go more basic in those situations, or just have a call, or how do you? I mean, that's because you obviously got to identify personnel and formations and things like that, and then line up accordingly, but. There's not really one basic coverall that can cover all that.
But it comes down to communication. That's what it is. And you got to communicate it quickly, and you got to get lined up.
We saw a couple instances of TreVeyon Henderson showing his ability to make explosive plays. That had to be kind of a good thing, even though you were talking about needing more running yards. But to see what it is that he brings to the whole thing.
Yeah, he played well in the game. And I think there's maybe 2 runs he wish he had back. But overall, I thought he played hard and really ran hard and had some explosive things early on. And I felt like we set the tempo early in the game and set the tone early in the game, and then had the fumble and that kind of swayed it a little bit. But I thought we came out with that mentality. I thought Trey hit some of the holes early hard.
Yeah, you just couldn't get that 11, 14-point lead on those guys. It was kind of back and forth, and you had that opportunity, and then you had the fumble, and then that kind of set you back, and then another possession with the hands team. Looking back at it, you guys are ready. They're kicking off at the 50. You understand what they're trying to do. You see the kicker line up 3 yards. Does thought cross anybody's mind, hey, maybe just burn another timeout here, burn a timeout just to see if they'll fall off of that and maybe scare them not to do it. But, what's the thought process going through there and the communication you guys had?
It's something that we practiced that week a bunch. As you saw, that was our hands team out there because after a penalty like that, when you have an opportunity to kick the ball off on the 50-yard line, most people will take some sort of a chance there and either do an onside kick, some sort of a squib or something like that. And so we actually spent a decent amount of time. So we were prepared for it. You worry about the short little bunt right there, but then you also have the line drive shot that went right to him. So, all you can do is justify and continue to work at it. But a timeout wouldn't have prepared us anymore. I mean, we were ready for the moment. We knew exactly what was going on, and the kid really drilled one right at Caleb, and it bounced right back to them. And so, we're going to talk about it here and continue to try to come up with contingency plans in place for that.
Would you tell him to get out of the way of that? I mean, what if you can't catch it? What's the thought process or the teams, the reminders that you try to give those guys?
Yeah. I think in that moment you got to do the best you can to really be ready that he might just bunt it. Yeah. But then he also might line drive it at you, which he knew that. But we're going to try to do everything we can to reduce our surface area in that moment. And when it gets drilled at you, you got to avoid it the best you possibly can so that doesn't happen.
Now, in the last couple of games, we've seen Emeka Egbuka play at a level that we know is a very high level that he can show all of the time. That has to be encouraging moving forward.
Yeah, no, Emeka's been great. Emeka's been clutch. Made another great catch in a big spot in that game that kind of gets lost because we didn't finish it, But no, he's been a clutch player for us, and we're going to need him here down the home stretch.
164 receptions now for his career, which moves him into 6th place all by himself. I mean, it was obviously a big day last Saturday. Yardage-wise, he's now number 8. And, we talked about this. He was scratching the top 10. Now he's firmly in it. And, only, a couple catches away from being in the top 5 here. And, again, it just, the type of career that he's had, even after being banged up, he's still right there and continuing to make plays and just a great leader for this team.
He is clutch. He's made a lot of clutch plays in his career. You think about the Notre Dame game last year, and just he's made a lot of plays, and so that veteran approach and mentality is something that is going to be important here down the home stretch in these bigger games. And I thought he played well in the game. He made some, had a couple nice runs and some nice catches in there. So, his approach, I think, has helped that room and has helped the offense.
Yeah, you got him in the backfield a couple times. I was going to say you had 2 rushes in that game, and both were pretty effective. Is that something we hopefully see more out of him?
Yeah, we felt like some of those perimeter runs were good in that scheme right there, and they both hit for pretty good runs. And he gives you flexibility, which is great. You think about like Deebo Samuel and what he does with the 49ers, and some of those guys who can line up as a receiver but also line up as a running back, and so that can put some stress on the defense. And I thought the offensive staff did a good job scheming a couple of those up, gave us some runs.
Is he a guy that's been a good influence on Jeremiah Smith?
Oh, great, yeah, great. Yeah, he's been really good, and Jeremiah is already is very mature for his age, but to have someone like Emeka, as someone who can kind of mentor him along the way is tremendous.
We saw Trey bust out a 53-yarder, a 17-yarder, 70 yards. You guys scored on a 4-play drive. You take it in, get in the end zone. Had like 5-6 rushes after that. I mean, what was the thought on that, after those couple, that drive where he really, started making plays? Did they do something differently to shut it down?
No. I mean, there was a few things here and there, but overall I thought there was a good balance throughout the night on offense, and I thought that we did establish the run early on, and then I thought we made some really good vertical throws down the field as the game went on. And there's some certainly plays that we want to have back, but there was a good balance in there. And then even in the 2-minute, I felt like, after taking the sack, we handled that pretty good. We got all the way down to the 28-yard line, and they had the penalty that set us back, and weren't able to finish it. But there was a good mix there, and have to continue to build on that balance.
The snap that went through Will's hands, did he just look away or something like that? Or, what was the thoughts there? What did he talk about after that one?
Yeah, I think if you look at it, his eyes really weren't on it, and his eyes were on the rush, looking to identify what the blitz was and what was going on there. And so I thought the snap was fine. He just didn't handle it.
He's a guy that's seen an awful lot of football, and you talked about the 2-minute drive and all of that. A lot of good things that he did in that football game. It has to help to have an experienced guy that's seen a lot of football be in those kind of settings.
Yeah, he's hurting right now. After the game and everything like that, the way it ended. But I did think he competed. I thought he made some really good throws. I think there's a lot of things that he can build confidence on moving forward, coming out of that game as much as the game hurt.
Well, it'd be great if the NCAA would have made that rule change about a week ago. With 12 men on the field, that came kind of quick after that ball game. And how were those discussions? I don't know if we had anything to do with that or not, but I think after everybody saw it, watched the game on a nationwide basis, and they thought, hey, that's not the way it's supposed to be here in college football. And it's kind of good to see the NCAA step in and kind of clarify some of the things on that 12-man at the end of the game.
Yeah. When you look at it, really, if Will decided to work the boundary in that moment right there, we still had Carnell available there, and so I don't know how much it really had an effect on the play, but yeah, and actually, it kind of moved us towards being able to kick a field goal anyhow. But I do think that the right thing to do is to put the time back on the clock.
And you were screaming that right at the sidelines. I mean, right away you saw 12 men and identified. You're talking to the linesman over there trying to get his attention. Can that be, something before the ball snaps? Can they call that, or do they just have to wait till it proceeds?
Yeah, I asked that question, to the head of the refs here, and they said no, they wouldn't blow it dead unless they saw it in back-to-back snaps. So, even if you were to call a timeout or something, that wouldn't work. So there's not much you can do there.
Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day Concert Series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board and book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Bucks and beat cancer. And we'll have more of today's show presented by Roosters when we continue on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Union Home Mortgage's 1% down payment program is like kicking an extra point or scoring a 2-point conversion. You put 1% down, and Union Home Mortgage will kick in up to 2% on the house. Visit UHM.com or call 877-846-4968 today. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,500 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. The auto, home, and business insurance you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. Time for our inside access with Kroger. A reminder that Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. Coach, we talked about this going into the first bye weekend, but going into this weekend, after today, do you kind of turn everybody loose for a little bit? And then knowing the answer to this one is obviously the recruiting on the agenda for the coaches now.
Yeah, a bunch of guys out today, and then we'll all be out tomorrow. Give everybody Saturday to kind of catch their breath, and then right back at it Sunday.
You get a chance to see RJ play tomorrow night. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'd be good. Be good to get him out. Get a chance to see him play. He's playing out in Cincinnati, so do some recruiting. Kind of sort of locally here, and then bounce around a little bit, and they head up to Cleveland and then down to Cincinnati.
Boy, everything's going down there this weekend with the basketball game tomorrow night too. Certainly, when you think about trying to work on fundamentals, and you talked about it a little earlier, but how do you divide up what goes on with your backups, other people, as well as getting the scout team sharpening their skills?
Yeah, you mix it. On a bye week, you're going to try to get these guys a few reps. So, for instance, if you go to a drill and first four with the ones, and then you come back with the twos for 4 threes, then you come back maybe with the twos and the threes, and just let the ones kind of catch their breath a little bit. It's going to be a run here that we got to make sure we're fresh for. But those guys are still getting some reps in practice and making sure fundamentally where we need to be.
And Will, I thought overall he played pretty well. There's some things that we talked about the drop snap, but I thought he stepped up in the moment. Over 300 yards in that game, was able to get in with his feet. And he's just got to continue to improve, and like the whole team does at this point.
Yeah, made some good throws down the field, and I think as we continue to run the ball and get the ball on the perimeter and then shoot the ball down the field, that's going to be it. And red zone is critical, as we know. I thought he threw a couple nice balls in a red zone again, which are critically important, third downs, and then 2-minute, and that's really how you're judged as a quarterback.
And G. Scott, I thought really, stepped up and made some nice plays. He had the false start, but besides that, I thought he did some really good things out there.
Yeah. So down the field, he was run some routes with a little bit more conviction down the field, like you said. I thought the one down the middle was a big play for us, big chunk play, and then continually growing in terms of blocking on the backside, and not having Will in there, we got to make sure that now some of these other tight ends are stepping up.
Next Union Home Mortgage inbox question comes from Frank in Steubenville. Was there any discussion about going for 2 after you scored your last touchdown, and what all goes into the decision about whether to go for 2 or not go for 2?
Yeah, I felt like in that moment it was still early in the third quarter, and there's a lot of game left, and there's going to be a lot, usually a lot of scores back and forth, and so if that was the fourth quarter with 9 minutes to go or whatever it was, I feel like that at that point you probably would go for 2, but early on, the game's still rolling, you want to get the point and kind of have to make that decision later on in the game.
And not chase the points.
Exactly right. You just feel like, when now if you're in a game where there's just not a lot of scoring going on, I think that's a different one. You kind of felt like there was a little bit back and forth in that moment.
Defense had some work on those 2-point conversions. I know one was a faulty snap where, the kicker had to step up and make it. Lathan, made a heck of an athletic play there, got it up the sideline. We've seen that before. We've seen Brian Roll take one back, 100-plus yards and get in the end zone and score and end up being the winning points in that ball game. And those things are happening. We're thinking, oh, man, we're going to see this happen again. It's been such a long time. But you were able to get another 2-point stop on them, and then you got them down there. They were down the 2-yard line, and your defense stepped up and, got to stop there on downs. Just, when you're defending your goal line, that's about as best you can do it right there.
Yeah, it is. And, whether it's those 2-point plays or, like you said, at the end of the game, because if they score there, it's a 2-score game. So, all those moments, all those plays add up. And in those games, those were 2 good stops, which was positive for the defense.
And that's a quick transition for guys that are used to playing defense. All of a sudden, they're on offense, and they got to think about legally blocking.
Yeah, and then that just about went back, and I thought they did a nice job of transitioning into that return mode, and so you just don't know, and that something like that can really flip it. That can be a 3-point play. Your
impressions? Have you seen Dylan Gabriel play? Personally, or I know you watched a lot of film on him, but he's got some quick feet there, and there's some things as a defensive line you kind of learn. You got to smell a rat every once in a while. If you're unblocked, it's a reason. You know what I mean? Sure. And you got to understand those type of things. And I thought that they used him and had a good scheme, and that 27-yarder he was able to sneak out of there was a real good play, athletic play by him.
Yeah, no, he did a good job, and that's kind of the X factor, but. We got to close the line of scrimmage more, and there was just too much air in that play right there. And then, when there's that much room, it makes it even harder to get them on the ground. So, that's it. We got to close the line of scrimmage faster, and then you really eat up the air right there. There was too many runs, and that was one of them in particular. There was just too much room in there, and so that affects how you're tackling. So we got to do a better job of closing down those gaps and tightening everything up.
How do you encourage guys how to handle this weekend?
To get rest, get away. You're not going to completely forget about football, but you got to get away a little bit. And as much as it's hard to do right now, sitting on this and chewing on this, you got to get away a little bit. You got to kind of get a little bit of a reset in your mind, because we're about to go on a long run here.
It's not like guys can fly home and do that. There's not enough time to do that, because you have to be back here Sunday. Ohio guys, yeah, they might have a chance to, drive back and see their folks and see their family. But, I'm sure a lot of guys want to just stay right here and get that rest.
Yeah. They got to be back by Sunday night. So, we'll practice today, and there'll be guys lifting tomorrow. But they can get away a little bit here. Harder for guys who are further away, like you said. But good to get a little change of scenery, because, it is going to be a long run here, and it's going to be a good run.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. We always appreciate it, and enjoy as best you can the bye week.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. Buckeye fans, this season Roosters is giving away 12 Ultimate Buckeye experiences, including tickets, sideline passes, Buckeye trips, and more. 3 drawings, 12 prizes. Register today and every day at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint. Coming up next, the head basketball coach at The Ohio State University, Jake Diebler. That's when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hey there, Buckeye fans. Coach Day here. When you're getting ready for game day, make sure you start with the Kroger app. The app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons, and you can earn fuel points too. And best of all, when you shop with the app, you'll enjoy the same low prices you'd find in-store. So check out the app and save while you're cheering us on to another great season. Kroger, fresh for everyone, and go Buckeyes.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated via the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Your home for Ohio State athletics, The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. And welcome back to our show this week. It is our pleasure to have Jake Diebler, the head basketball coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, with us. Thank you, as always. Good to see you.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be over in this building, too. I never gets old coming in here and looking at this hardware.
Isn't that the truth? Hey, let's start with the first of our Union Home Mortgage Inbox questions. And that's because of the exhibition game you have at Cincinnati tomorrow. It's part of the Jays Light Foundation dealing with Coach Anthony Grant of Dayton. But, folks, this question comes from Rob at Arlington, loving the fact it played Dayton last year, Cincinnati this year. What are your scheduling philosophies in playing those schools for real in the future?
Yeah, I think, we're certainly open. I said this yesterday. I'm a product of the basketball culture here in Ohio. And I think as the head coach at Ohio State, there's a responsibility to continue to grow that here within our borders. And certainly this is part of it. What I don't want, though, because the impact we're able to have in the communities and the money we're able to raise, I don't want to lose sight of that. So as long as we don't have to give that up to potentially play maybe in the regular season down the road, I'm certainly open to it. Scheduling's hard. I learned that very quickly this past spring. So there's a lot of details that have to get ironed out for things like this to come together. We tried to get all four of us under the same roof, and I thought that would have been awesome. Do it maybe down at like Nationwide Arena. We couldn't do it in this short window. So, but yeah, as far as playing regular season, certainly open to having some of those conversations.
And the other two would have been Xavier and Dayton involved in it. I know you had an exhibition against Dayton last year. And again, I agree with you. I think it's something, as an Ohioan, to keep it in the state, to have those guys, because it's a great experience for those players too. Everybody sometimes dreams about Ohio State, but don't always work out for everybody. But to, get a chance to go out and compete against them, I think is something that, they never forget.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think even, our second game of the year is against Youngstown State. I think trying to, play at least a couple games every year within our borders is important.
Having an experienced backcourt with Bruce Thornton and Michie Johnson coming back to Ohio State. That has to be a great starting point to get this season jumped off.
Yeah, that gives me a little bit of peace of mind. A little bit, having a veteran backcourt and guys who have won a lot of games, played in a lot of big games, and I think the other component with those two is the relationship I have with them. And not to say that I don't have a good relationship with all our guys, but there's a deeper connection with those two because obviously recruited and coached Bruce the last couple years, and then I was Michie Johnson's position coach when he was here before. So the relationship part of that is important too.
I thought I saw some comments by Michie that he was, after South Carolina, that experience, but to be back in Ohio, was being closer to family and friends and things like that was important to him too, and it worked out too when he was named head coach to get him back in here, just to have those relationships that he had. Now he's back here, with friends and family, and he's got to be excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, he really cares about winning here. He, obviously won at South Carolina, had one of the best years they had in a while, and he was a big part of that. So he cares about winning at Ohio State, and I think Bruce Thornton does too. It's a big reason why he came back. He wants to, leave a legacy here, and the next step of that is to get to the postseason and advance in the postseason.
Jake, it's common now in college athletics, but you've got multiple transfers coming in and getting everybody assimilated with one another had to be not only a big object once you started practice, but even before that.
It was. I think in today's landscape, it works both ways. It's great for players to be able to, adjust if maybe they didn't make the best decision or things changed, with their initial recruiting decision. And for coaches, it allows us flexibility, roster flexibility. And so when the spring came around and, as you saw at the end of the season, we shifted the way that we played faster. We were able to recruit to that this spring. And, I think it's important. This program, there's a standard that we are fighting to get back to. And we want to do that as quickly as possible. I think the transfer portal gives you an ability to do that. And we wanted to take full advantage of that because, we have big expectations for this team and this program long term. But make no mistake, we're trying to get there as fast as we possibly can.
Been a while since I've looked at your roster and saw 2 7-footers on there, and you got Aaron and Yvonne, both at 7'1". Is one maybe a half-inch, quarter-inch taller than the other, or are they both exactly 7'1"?
Yeah, I think Aaron 7'1" with shoes, Yvonne 7'2" with shoes is kind of how I like to say it. But I didn't think there were many people that could make, a guy like Austin Parks look small.
Like
but
6'10", right?
6'10", and physical, and when he stands next to Yvonne, he doesn't look as big anymore. So it's a good, we got a lot of versatility on this team. I think it's a real advantage for us, and, we'll be able to lean into that as the season goes on.
That's Aaron Bradshaw and Yvonne Nagovin. Now, are those guys that can also play on the outside a little bit too? At least that's what I read about Yvonne Nagovin.
Yeah, both those guys can shoot threes, and we're going to want them to shoot threes. I felt like part of the success we had at the end of last season was we were able to put more shooting on the floor and create more space. And that's going to be important moving forward. So when you have guys with that size that can space the floor, it really opens up, for everybody else, opens the floor up. But it also gives, the head coach some creativity on the drawing board a little bit.
John Ginny Mobley seems like he can shoot from anywhere on the court. Is that carried over to the college game so far?
Yeah, so I've been recruiting, John for years, and he committed as a junior. And I've always believed in his ability at this level and certainly his ability to shoot. I've been really impressed with how quickly it's translated because he's going against, in practice, veteran, old, tough, like good defenders, and he's still finding a way to be efficient. I think that's oftentimes the biggest challenge for young players is certainly he can make shots with the best of them, but he's doing it in an efficient manner, which has been really impressive for a young player. So I'm really excited to see how he continues to grow this season.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com, an equal housing lender, and MLS number 2229. We'll have more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Hey, Ohio State fans, it takes a lot of energy to root for the Buckeyes. That's why Burger King is going to get your team going with the $20 Buckeye Blitz Bundle. This OSU fan exclusive has a delicious lineup that includes 2 Whopper sandwiches, 1 cheeseburger, 3 small fries, and 3 small drinks. Get over to your local BK and get fueled up for game day. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Join Coach Ryan Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington airs game day Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on Valley Sports Ohio. I guess that means there's no show this weekend. Second open weekend for football. Ohio State will be back at home next Saturday hosting Nebraska. We get a chance to talk with basketball coach Jake Diebler, whose team will play the Cincinnati Bearcats tomorrow evening. We will actually be broadcasting that game on the Ohio State Radio Network. Last year, the NIT games and the additional experience you got, especially for a guy like, am I drawing a blank? Devin Royal. How did that help a guy like that as a freshman who we saw really kind of continue at the end of the year?
I think he played with a great deal of confidence down the stretch, and that gave him, some momentum going into the offseason. Devin's a guy that when we sat down and talked in the spring, we talked about him growing his game at his size, being able to do a few more things on the perimeter, and he's worked hard at that. And I think, he's realizing, he can add to his game while still, maintaining those strengths that really helped him be successful down the stretch of the season. But I think that confidence gave him a lot of momentum.
Coach, I've seen some clips on social media of your guys' practice, and man, it looks like almost a football practice. You got bags out there, you got pads, you're wailing on guys, and you're very active in those. You like to play defense, and you like to kind of give them a look. And first of all, how much longer do you think you can do that? I mean, before these guys start coming after you. But that has to be fun for you and for the team to see you that active.
Well, I've been to watch our football team practice. It definitely is not a football practice. But, no, I think it's important to, get out, be hands-on, be on the court in practice. And I think the more that I can do that and the bond that helps create is critical when it comes to coaching. So, I hope I can do that for a while.
Yeah.
I hope I can do that for a while. I know that's not an endless opportunity, but while I can, I want to be out there. I want to be able to demonstrate. I want to be able to, spar with guys a little bit. Can't do it quite as well as I could a couple years ago, but still good enough to get out there every once in a while.
Some of us remember you as a player wearing that face mask. We don't want to see you have to go through that again. Tell us a little bit about the influence of Micah Parrish, a guy that's played in a national championship game, and what he brings.
Yeah, he brings a real competitiveness and a toughness to our team, and I think, there hasn't been really much he hasn't seen in college. So his game experience is going to be crucial for us. He's played in big games. He's played in tough environments. He's, advanced deep in the NCAA tournament, and the level at which he's won at the last couple of years is, I think that stuff matters. I think it's valuable, and he's a good two-way player. I think that's the other thing. We talk about his leadership and experience, but he's a good player too, and so he'll play a significant role for us this year, and we're hoping to be able to lean on him in a leadership role too.
How's Colin White adjusted? Coming in here, we talked about Mobley coming in. How's it been for Colin so far?
It's been good. It's been good. He comes from a very good high school program. Was well coached. So, I think he's even ahead of what I thought he might be. The fall of his freshman year, he had a really good summer. He's tough. He's smart, and he's shooting the ball consistently well. That was a question he had to answer, and he and I were very. I was very direct with him in the recruiting process. In college, you're going to have to be a consistent shooter. You got to, and to his credit, he worked and he developed that part of his game over his senior year to where it's translated. And so I've been really impressed with just, the game hasn't seemed too fast for him. I think that's something I thought would be an adjustment for him, but he's handled it really well.
Jake, earlier you referenced the schedule, and when you think about Texas, at Texas A&M, Kentucky, Pittsburgh, that ought to be a schedule to get you ready for the Big Ten.
Did you say Auburn?
Auburn, thank you. Forgot Auburn. Yeah. That ought to be a schedule that will toughen you up for the Big Ten, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. I think, when we were looking at the schedule, you wanted to position yourself, right, to twofold. One, figure out where you're at in the non-conference. And against those opponents, we're going to have to bring our best stuff in those games. And so it's a great challenge for us. It very much represents what Big Ten play is like, and it's going to help prepare us for the Big Ten schedule. And then the other part is, the postseason implications of scheduling. So we wanted to take an aggressive, stance on scheduling and philosophy to help set us up for March. And then, it's also why we're going to Cincinnati, in an exhibition game, because two of the first three games we play are either neutral site or on the road against preseason top 20 teams. And so we needed that experience in someone else's gym with someone else's crowd against a good veteran team to help us get ready for the games that really matter coming up here in a couple weeks.
Coach, I hear your after practice hoops games with the managers are becoming legendary.
How'd you hear about that?
I'm hearing about it. I got some insight over there, but how was that going, and what was the thought of bringing that up?
Well, we got some guys on staff that can still get up and down a little bit, and honestly, the most important part of those games are cardio for the coaches, particularly the head coach who doesn't like to do cardio unless it's basketball. So we get out there and play. We got a great group of managers, by the way, so it's a lot of fun.
Jake, thanks for your time as always. Look forward to seeing you and your team tomorrow night down in Cincinnati.
All right, guys. Thank you.
That's Ohio State basketball coach Jake Diebler. Join us a week from Saturday as Ohio State hosts Nebraska. We'll be on the air at Ohio Stadium beginning at 10:30 a.m. The Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio. For Skip Mossick, Ted Holbrook, and for Jim Lachey, Coach Ryan Day, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
It's Rocktober, baby! It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of Rocktober, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia?
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorento LX. All three under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?